There you go. Now you can find it. Hey, everybody.
I got my Christmas coffee.
He's got his Christmas coffee.
Every day is Christmas.
Hi, John Paduchak. Dr. Christopher Vogelin with me today.
Yes, indeed.
Sunday afternoon.
It is Sunday afternoon.
Yes, we thought we'd go live, tell you about what we found with the different streaming technologies today, because we've been playing with them all.
Yes, playing.
Lots of people.
We're playing safely though.
We've been trying them all out. And if anybody comes by and wants to join us, I'm going to put the link in, so we can just say, "Hey,
hey."
Because that's the fun part of streaming. You know, we're all dying to have social interaction. So I want to give you a chance. Even if you can just talk to us, I think it's worthwhile.
We're semi-interactive. Apparently, there's one person watching. That actually might be me. So
it could possibly be you. That's true. So we've had a good week here this week, Dr. V. We've decided we're going to go live every day now, which is pretty exciting.
Hopefully not from my deathbed.
Yes, we don't want that. No, hopefully none of us will have that problem. And we tested out all of the different live streaming technologies because where I work in that arena, and I'm constantly consulting with clients and telling them what to do. There have been some that it's impossible to kind of go back and try this one out and that one out again. And it's been a while since I've been on them, but I've got to say I've been on just about every one this week, and some are emerging favorites in different ways. And it'd be kind of a fun thing to talk about, I thought, for people looking to do this. So I went to church service this morning, and that was on Zoom. And it worked much better than I'm seeing a lot of churches live streaming to YouTube and to Facebook, which is great. It's a great way to kind of get started with it. But a lot of times, the bandwidth doesn't cooperate with you, especially where we're seeing, infrastructure challenge to the max. People can't watch their Netflix shows and Hulu and all of that, let alone trying to stream something online. And again, I posted the link for you guys. If anybody joining us wants to join, feel free to pop in. We'd love to have you talk with us. So we've tried out everything this week. Now, have you had any emerging favorite? I don't want to share with you mine yet. I just want to see.
I have not yet tried StreamYard, so I don't know if it's an emerging favorite or not. I've done Zoom in the past, but mainly for meetings and webinars, but never broadcasting through any of the APIs. I will say that although I was having some reservations about BeLive, I think the interface is pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I like it a little better than the Facebook native broadcast studio.
Much better.
Yeah.
I like Facebook native if you're on your phone and there's no real other way to go.
Yeah.
Facebook native is great. And it's nice to see that there are apps. I know there's a BeLive app. I didn't look to see if there was a StreamYard app, but there's a BeLive app.
Yeah.
And so that was very, very simple to just hop on. And you and I did a little test with that this morning.
Yeah, we were doing some troubleshooting with a friend of mine, trying to figure out what's going on. I did find out about the BeLive through troubleshooting and real-time experience that we had some trouble, and part of it was because of the browser. Because apparently, according to the support people at BeLive, they do not support Firefox, but they do support Google Chrome, and they support Safari, which I thought was kind of interesting. And so one of my friends who was trying to get streaming, she was trying to do it through Internet Explorer, and that may have been one of the things that was causing us to have problems, other than slow speeds from all the people nearby streaming Hulu, Netflix, and doing online video gaming.
Right. So, makes sense. She was having problems.
Now, what was your experience with Zoom, though? Because I think that was your favorite.
My experience with Zoom is great. I'm a big lover of Zoom. I've used the webinar platform a lot. I've used the meeting platform I really like. And it was very easy to stream to Facebook or to YouTube. The only thing that I haven't figured out yet is you can't seem to get the comments back from YouTube or Facebook like you can with BeLive or StreamYard and some of the others. So for me, that's a shortfall if you're really looking to just stream with it. Yeah. If you're looking to stream something that you're producing as content anyways, then just being able to go direct to Facebook or YouTube with Zoom is really no problem. It just lets your audience see it in a different place, or helps you with overflow. If maybe you're at the 100-person limit on your meeting room or webinar, and you just want to have a little room for overflow for free webinars, it's perfect for that. Because I know a number of folks that, including me, a lot of times I don't get over 100 people on a webinar. I just have, small webinars, 60 some people. So I don't hit that overflow number. But we had a thing that we did earlier in the week. It was basically a meditation type of workshop, and we had almost 700 people for the free call. So we blew over our 500 allotment on webinar for Zoom, and then we were streaming it on YouTube. And then for the actual paid workshop, we had about 50, 60 people. So it really worked out great.
So I have a question. So what happens when you hit that magic number of 500 or so? Do they shut you off, or they say, hey, you need to upgrade now, or do they hit you up the next day?
No, it just, they won't let any more in.
Okay.
So they just won't let any more in. And but when we posted the link to the webinar, we said, hey, this is what we've got. And it looks like we're overcrowded for the day, you can go watch it on YouTube, and we gave them the channel link. Mm-hmm. So everybody who couldn't join us on the webinar joined us from YouTube. It worked out very, very well.
That's great. So even when it's on the fly, you're in the middle of it, and you just send them to another link, and you're okay then.
Correct. And I know my church tried to stream, and they said that they had some issues with doing it with Facebook and YouTube, or Facebook for sure. They said they didn't find it to be very dependable, reliable. I haven't seen that or had that problem. The only time I found it to be not so reliable is if you've got just a poor internet connection to start with. And like I said, many of us with infrastructure being taxed to the max now, that seems to be one of the challenges.
Yeah, there's no infrastructure tax relief.
No. And so, but BeLive was worked really, really well. We had that we did on Thursday. We tried to BeLive, and that worked super well. And of course, StreamYard is great because it lets you stream to multiple places at the same time. So right now we're streaming on Facebook and my YouTube channel. So 2 places at once.
Could I as a guest share this to YouTube? Could I share this to YouTube? Would I be able to share this to YouTube?
You could share it to YouTube.
If I do from your YouTube channel to mine.
You could put it in a playlist.
In a playlist. Ah, interesting.
So you could create a playlist with all.
I want to try this. Dangerous. Can I blow up my YouTube channel?
Then one of the things we're going to try to do that I came up with this week, and I think it's a cool idea, is create a kind of a streamathon instead of your traditional summit, where you get guest speakers, and most people do them pre-recorded and put them out. We're going to do it live, or we're looking at doing it live. Probably we'll use StreamYard because that would be fun. We could actually have people come in and ask the hosts questions and all of that, make it really interactive. And we're gonna do it as a stream, which will be different. I don't know if anybody who's ever done that.
So can you see comments? I guess there are no comments as of yet.
Not yet. We got a couple people watching.
Okay. It's always good to have a little lurker while you work.
Exactly. And if anybody comes along and wants to join, there's a link in the comments over there.
Come right in here.
Or down there, as the case may be, where you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube.
Excuse me, I'm getting text messages from my spouse. So
uh-oh, you're in trouble.
Pardon me.
Did you run?
No.
You see, and this is yet another challenge. So here we are all home. We've got our kids duct taped up in the other room and tied together, and trying to keep the peace while we work. I'm just kidding. You don't want to duct tape your children. That's a bad idea. But seriously, it's been a challenging thing for a lot of people. There's a lot of funny commercials on right now, where the funniest one I saw was the other day. It was like a commercial in Spanish on Facebook. The wife is like working on her computer. She's doing like some kind of meeting, and her husband comes out behind her in his underwear with a beer in his hand, and sees her, talking to her work colleagues. That was pretty hysterical. I could see that happening. Trying times. These are trying times, my friend. Trying
times. Let's try some more. The LA Times, the New York Times, fake news.
Oh no. And then, so going back to the different streaming technologies, we got off the subject a little bit. So, and then you tried Ecamm, which of course is an all-time favorite.
I tried Ecamm, and the thing is, I mean, I mostly testing Ecamm, and I really liked it. The challenge that I had was I couldn't quite get the comment section, the feed, to pull in on the side panel where it's supposed to pull in. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just because I'm loading up so many things here. I noticed one thing was that I had to close. I'm one of these, I refer to myself as a tabaholic. So I'll have like 14 tabs on 6 different windows open simultaneously, and it just sucks up the memory, and the fan is going crazy because I'm always afraid of losing something, and my bookmarks are so out of control that they all have to be reorganized. So I've realized I have to keep closing as many tabs and as many windows as possible, and getting rid of anything from Adobe, getting rid of anything related to photo or video editing. And every once in a while, there's an application hiding somewhere, like perhaps my Facebook Messenger, or there could be actually iMessage. iMessage seems to take up a lot of space too. And if I close as many things as possible, and then just like when we used to do Google Hangouts regularly, I shut down the computer and then bring it back up again, because there's always some sort of random stuff that's worth clearing out of your RAM. Oh, random and RAM. Random RAM. And so I think that you just have to sometimes, and every once in a while too, I'll also have to unplug the router and plug it in again, especially these days, because it just gets just to be a little funky in the neighborhood. I'm almost thinking we need to upgrade to a higher speed just to get back to what our normal speed used to be.
Right.
Yeah. True. So.
And then I did a little playing around with OBS and Wirecast this week, just a little bit, and they still seem to work as normal, as typical. I got to play around a little bit further with that, because they let you do a lot of stuff that you can't do with things like StreamYard, bringing in multiple scenes and photos and other video and all of that. And so I've been playing around with that, mostly because we have I mentioned to you before that we do a lot of work with Hopin, which is a software that lets you take live events and go virtual with them, with basically a whole trade show, multiple breakout session type of event, and do it virtually. And one of the things on that is to be able to stream into it. So I've been testing some of the different streaming things to see what streams into it best.
Are you ready to launch one of those anytime soon, or are you going to wait a while?
We've been looking at doing network meetings to start. We're going to do a large event, and then I just didn't feel comfortable with it. I just got that gut feeling something wasn't going to go quite right, and we haven't had the testing behind it yet that I'd like. And so we're going to start doing some networking events and things on our own, probably the next week.
So you think that you didn't want to have hop in turn into hop out?
Yes, I did not want to have to hop out of Hopin after I hopped in.
Oh boy, keep it hopping. Easter's coming, Peter.
Hoppin for sure.
So your favorite is the one you're using now?
My favorite so far,
yeah,
I think StreamYard is like right up there.
And why?
With what I've seen so far.
Pourquoi? ¿Por qué?
Very. Why, you ask? Why?
Yeah, I do ask why. Why? Ask why.
That's a good question. So there's a couple of reasons. One is it's very easy to set up, very easy to connect to your different social media profiles. It was a piece of cake. I've got it streaming right now in 2 places, which you can't do with any of the others. So right now we're streaming in Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
You can stream singly to each one, but you can't multi-stream. And StreamYard at its highest level will actually let you stream to 5 different places at once.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Plus
it keeps the recording, which is super too.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't stream to LinkedIn, could you? Or can you?
I could if I had LinkedIn, yeah.
If you had LinkedIn Live.
If I had LinkedIn Live.
Right? You got to be approved for that one.
You got to be approved because it's in beta.
But you know somebody who's approved. I applied, but they said, hey, we'll keep you informed.
I do know somebody who's approved. I got to twist his arm to have him let me do some broadcasting with him.
Just don't break it off, because
That would be sad. And he'd be missing an arm, and I need him. So that would be a bad thing.
he would be disarmed.
That too. It's very disarming.
Yes. So with respect to these, so what's your experience with StreamYard versus, say, going straight through YouTube as a broadcast without using an app, a piece of software?
Going straight without, well, you can't
just
do
do YouTube live without any of these fancy dancy.
Yeah, so if we did like Hangouts live.
Right, Hangouts, I'm sorry, yeah.
So if we did Hangouts live to YouTube directly, you can't do stuff like, highlight a comment on here. You can't do stuff like that. It's hard to see the comments in a lot of those applications that you go direct with. You can, but sometimes it's tricky. They make it very easy here, and then you got little things like having your own tickers, which is pretty cool. So we can have our own little ticker that runs across the bottom. You can find John at JohnPaduchak.com. Yeah, there you go. It's like watching the stock report, which wants to look at that right now.
Woo.
If you know what I'm saying. Mostly it's woo.
I'm a reformed day trader. This would have been really exciting if I'd actually was trading a bunch of stocks now. I would have actually loved it. But I used to trade mostly individual stocks. I didn't do too many. I did options, but I wasn't that thrilled with options. It was easier for me to just be a value investor. And I changed from a day trader to an every other day trader. So, and that actually worked better. So what else would you put? So what about call to action?
What else would you put for
would you just use the ticker as your call to action?
Yeah, I just use my ticker as a call to action, but you could do anything.
Yeah.
They have other banners too. I love the other banner, which is just a straight banner.
So are there buttons like subscribe here?
Banners to summarize your talking points and display calls to action.
It tells you what to do.
It tells you what to do.
So is that your call to action to display
for today? Just so you can make a call to action. Is our call to action today?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So starting and stopping, is that easy on this thing? Or?
Starting and stopping. Yeah.
Sometimes I would lose the button on a Google Hangout. I was like, where is it? Where is it? How do I stop this?
No, it's very easy. It's in the upper right-hand corner on this panel. Oh. On BeLive, it's in the left.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
There.
Stage left, stage right.
I get used to the mirroring effect on this. It's just very difficult for me. The good news, though, is if you write things, they actually do show up and you can read them, which is cool. But yeah, that's kind of hard to get used to. But generally, yeah, they're all very easy to start. No problem at all.
So how does this compare? So with the OBS and the Wirecast, how does this compare?
Totally different.
Okay.
So OBS and Wirecast are obviously way more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to avoid complication, use one of these systems because it's way easier. And you get to do, it's like Andy Jenkins used to always talk about the 80-20 rule with video. He always said, I want to show you the 20% of things that you need to do to get 80% of the results.
Right.
And and BeLive and StreamYard are like that. They're the 20% of video that gets you 80% of the result.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us need Wirecast and OBS and all of that. Most of us would be well suited to just get a tool like this that here's your 20%. Go reap the 80% of the result with us.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for my doctors, because I'm gathering my peeps into my Life Beyond Practice Facebook group and then giving them advice on connecting with their patients and making sure that they are constantly perpetuating the momentum or restarting the momentum that they may have lost by no longer being in the office. Because unless you're an emergency room physician or surgeon or something like that, from the dentists, the plastic surgeons whom I know, and as well as all the chiropractors, their offices, at least in California here, are all shuttered. And so they're not working, they're not making money, and they're losing touch with their patients, and even like psychologists losing touch with their clients. And I'm not talking telemedicine. I'm just talking about giving education, reassurance, that sort of thing. So I'm looking for the simplest platform that would be easy, so easy a doctor could use it.
There you go. So let's talk about that for a second. So based on what we saw this week of you and I doing this, where do you see this fitting in for you? And where do you see this fitting in for your doc clients?
Oh, I mean, pretty easy, which is my goal is to have more interaction and more engagement on several different platforms. You know, it'd be nice if it was LinkedIn, but it's not available at this time. So I'd like to have the Google juice from having YouTube videos that I can embed, and streaming through YouTube, I think, is one of those brilliant ways to get a little bit more of that Google juice. In fact, my wife had a lot of that with just her little 60-second tasty videos going through there. Also, to connect with, for me, is connecting with the doctors and answering their questions and doing a back and forth type of thing, because it helps to connect all of us to recognize that all of the healthcare professionals, we're all in the same boat, unless we're working in the hospitals and emergency rooms. And to help the doctors really to educate patients. It's not so much about telemedicine. I'm not, give me your symptoms, and through my Facebook group, I'm going to diagnose you and give you a prescription. That's not going to work. And of course, we don't have the hands-on anymore for chiropractors, and for my dental friends, we can't extract a tooth or do braces or Invisalign or anything like that.
Right.
So it's more about educating people on the current things that are bothering them, anything from mental health and attitude to proper nutrition, how to get the right nutrients in your body, the right supplements, how to obtain, even the tactics of how to obtain fresh fruits and vegetables without putting yourself at risk, getting enough water, leading an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. There's a whole host of things, exercising, working out at home. If you teach all your patients these types of things, they see you as their go-to authority, not just when they're in your office, but now. And so you can extend your reach. And for my docs, that's one of the big things, is to connect with your existing patient base and then expand your reach so that when these stay-at-home orders are abated, that your office will be full of patients, that it won't be a ghost yard.
Right. And also it gives them an opportunity to connect with them because, if you're a doctor, you should have 15 minutes with a patient. And here they could really get to know you much better than they do.
And I think, it's that building of rapport. So for me, it's the know, love, and trust for me, as opposed to the know, like, and trust. And
yes,
Ted Rubin always talks about the return on relationship. I think that's what we're really looking at. It's not so much the dollars that you are either making or losing at this time. It's building that relationship, deepening those connections, building the rapport so that people have this feeling more than anything else. They get to know more about your personal life, but they also can feel your intention, that it's good and it's towards helping them and healing them and doing whatever it takes to help them to feel better. Because regardless of what healing profession you're in, like I know your wife's a massage therapist, we're in the feel-good business.
Yeah.
People want to feel good.
Exactly.
So if it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, people want to feel good. And I think some of the simplest things that I've recommended to people is just get enough sleep, drink enough water, go for a walk at a safe social distance. But you'd be amazed at how many people having sleep disturbances, they're not moving, they're binge watching TV and eating stuff all the time, the wrong stuff, and they're dehydrated because a lot of people just don't think of drinking water. In fact, my friend Monica, we're going to do our little broadcast later this afternoon around 2:30 Pacific. I guess that would be 5:30 Eastern. And so we're just going to do a short one, the one that was we had to abort yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Right.
The day before?
Yesterday.
It was yesterday or Friday. I think it was Friday.
It was Friday. Yeah.
It was Friday, yeah.
I'm working on it.
So this was the one where Be Live worked perfectly. I even broadcast into an old page of mine that had 0 subscribers. So I published the page, broadcast into it. It was perfect. And then we came back around for Friday, and the thing just blew up in our faces. Mm-hmm. It was poor connectivity because of bad bandwidth, the wrong browser, you name it. It was there. Camera angle was wrong, lighting was wrong. And part of the thing, too, in teaching docs and anybody who wants to do more live video is to be careful about your lighting. So I like to broadcast with a window in front of me because I think natural light, there's no substitute for that. But there's certain times of day that are better than others. So, for example, if this was around 6 p.m. this evening, I'm going to have sunshine streaming straight into my face and won't be able to see any comments. I don't have a ring light yet. I do have those fancy schmancy lights that we used to use long ago, on the stands. They're not soft, but what are they? They're just, your standard $120 light kit that you can get.
That's all I use is regular lights.
Yeah.
I've got a side lamp over here.
There's an umbrella and a bunch of different things too.
I got a side lamp over here, table lamp. I've got in front of me like a banker's light, with the long bulb banker's lights.
I do this one.
And then,
here's this one.
Yeah, like a little different. It's the real old style flip up head ones. Yeah. And then up top of my desk, I got a rolled up computer desk. I've got just another table lamp up high.
Yeah, you have better
and
light.
That's all I use for my lighting. Just three regular lights, and it works pretty good. You can see no real shadows behind me, all lit from in front, and all daylight bulbs. So
I want to try one of those ring lights. You and I both have one of those cheapy little.
I got a big one too.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah, I got one that's probably like that.
It's like
big, yes. Why? Yeah. Again. I think we tried that yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, so I got like a big ring light too, and that works well, especially if you're doing stuff with DSLR and everything. But for doing this, for the most part, I don't really even need it.
Yeah,
works out perfectly well.
I must say, I do like backgrounds. Oh, we were talking about backgrounds too.
We're talking about backgrounds.
I do have a green screen, but I don't use it. Now, one of my friends who was in Arizona and moved up to Alberta, he actually had his green screen, but he would always broadcast just with the green background. He never tried to put anything into it. And I thought that was actually kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just use a solid color.
Watching us now.
What's that?
If you're watching us, comment, because I'd love to know who's watching.
Who's watching? I'm watching.
Just comment and say hello. Yeah, we got 3 people. So if you're watching, comment and say hi. I'd love to see who's watching.
Is anybody out there?
It'd be great to know.
Well, I'm checking my pages.
Yeah.
Seeing who might be out there. Should call somebody out.
Exactly, because I'm always curious to see who's.
Oh, no, it didn't. You know what? It didn't share. It didn't share to my page.
Yeah, we got 3 people. So if you're watching, comment and say hi.
Interesting.
Love to see who's watching. Is anybody out there? It'd be great to know.
Yeah. So there's one comment from somebody. Oh, there it is. Hey, John, from Jenny.
Oh my goodness! There's someone I haven't seen in a long time. Wow, how you doing, Jenny? I know Jenny from high school. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you. How have you been? Hope you're well. Hope your family's well. Hope your sister's well. Brenda, tell her I said hi. That's funny. You just never know who's watching,
Yeah, I have a couple of grade school friends who popped in to me through the Book of Faces. Which I thought was really interesting. Yeah.
I'm doing excellent. Well, we're surviving here in Boston. I think we're mostly worried about what's going to come over from us from New York City.
New York City
and Boston. So, our proximity to the city is good, and it's kind of a mess there right now. So they closed down the state in New Hampshire pretty much in the last couple of days. Yeah, do that. I haven't talked to her in a while either. So
people, the thing about it, it's very interesting. I think the potential for broadcasting, even on a personal level, is pretty amazing.
Social opportunity.
Yeah, well, I suppose, but also there's this opportunity to be able to reach out and convey a message about your family to other family members instead of making a series of 5 or 10 phone calls or FaceTimes or things like that. But you could actually broadcast to your immediate circle of friends, to your tribe, to your neighborhood if you wanted to. That just occurred to me. You can have your neighborhood meetings right here in a broadcast.
You're in Alabama. What are you doing over there?
Alabama.
I'll be darned. Alabama. That's not the place I would expect to see you, but that's cool. It's very cool. How do you like it there? A rural area of Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to connect. In fact, right now where people are just starved for connection, we were even going to just start doing Zoom calls and invite lots of folks who want to pop in. Oh, wow. You must be having fun then right now. What are you guys doing for school? Are they meeting on Zoom? You doing stuff with the kids on Zoom? It's really a lot like Kendall. That's scary. I grew up in a town of about 2,000 people. It's a tiny little place, Kendall, New York.
I grew up in a town of 650,000 people called Buffalo, New York.
But I miss all my friends from back there.
Yeah, it dropped over time. I think when I left, it was around 360,000 people, I think, because all the steel mills and everything else were closing down.
Where were you from? Where'd you come from?
Buffalo, New York.
Right out of the heart of Buffalo?
In the city. I'm a city boy. Close to the West Seneca city line. Yeah, I grew up in the city.
You were more suburban Buffalo.
Oh, public schools in the city schools.
Wow.
We had no school bus. We rode the city bus to school.
Oh, so Jenny, if you're still watching, what are you guys doing for school? I'm just curious. Like, are you Zooming class? Like we've been doing a lot of stuff on Zoom lately. I think a lot of the schools here have been using that. Did you guys have virtual stuff set up already? I'm always curious to see what the schools are doing in different places because that's been like a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. MacBooks. When they start back up, we'll do virtual. Okay, cool. So they had a virtual classroom or virtual school set up online. New Hampshire, I think New Hampshire and Florida, we have VLAX here. So we were one of the first states, I understand, surprisingly, to pioneer online school.
That's
Go
great.
figure. Or at least we have a really good system in place for it. So that's good. Well, I'm glad you're on spring break, and I'm sure you'll be on a longer break, probably.
Summer break.
Spring break.
Don't let the break break you.
I think we're closed. Like almost indefinitely. Most of the seniors, I don't think will see graduation. It looks, which is sad. The kids miss seeing their friends in the hallways and all of that. I don't know if they're probably playing games and seeing each other virtually, hanging out on Xbox or something.
Well, they'll be missing their friends even more if they start breathing. So
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So stay home.
Stay home. The best way to stay close is stay away.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear from you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello.
It's good. So we know people are out there.
There are live people.
Monica liked our things. I know she's a lurker, but later you'll be able to see her up live in person.
Yeah, so they're not going back to school till August and planning on postponing prom and graduation. Yep, I'm seeing that too. A lot of places. And we do, our graduation for high school is, they do a lot of the big schools in New Hampshire. They do in our Verizon, well, it's not the Verizon Center anymore. It's the SNU Center, the state's New Hampshire University. Yeah, nice to chat with you too. And so it's like having it in a big sports arena where the hockey games go on and stuff. It's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. I'm so used to a small school graduation, that was big. Watching my daughter's graduation. Pretty wild. So we got way off track now.
Yeah.
Now they've had a conversation with one of my high school friends.
So what do you think is the simplest one so far of these platforms for doing broadcasting? Yeah, or is it just a personal preference?
This is pretty simple.
This?
I've become a big fan so far of StreamYard.
Is there a trial period or is it just straight into pay?
I believe there's BeLive has a trial period.
It's 14 days.
StreamYard has a free one that you can use just free, and then you can upgrade.
What about time limits? Because I know Zoom, the free Zoom is 40 minutes, and then you're kicked out.
Yeah, I didn't see any time limits. It was more like number of streams that you put up.
Okay.
was what the limit was. So it
Right.
was like, I think the free version of Be Live is like 25 streams.
Right.
That's quite a few, actually.
That's a lot.
That's almost a month of, one a day live streams, which
Right.
would probably take care of most people.
Yeah.
They want to start streaming.
Very few people are broadcasting daily.
Very few people are broadcasting
Just
daily.
the crazy ones.
Yep. So we were talking before this. We were talking about how you were going to use this, how your peeps were going to use this. I was going to say how I'm planning it and using it, and how I can see where I kind of see things going with it from my side of the plate here. But for me, it's a great way to kind of get out to people, what you do, talk about case studies, especially in this business environment. We're looking at a lot of businesses that are, out of business at the moment. They're going to be looking for ways that they can improve their marketing while they've got time off, and just kind of get a jump start on things before they get going again. And, live streaming is a great way to do that. It's a great way to get people to know you in the neighborhood before you get back to work. So, I mean, if it's a technology you're not doing, it's something you might want to really seriously consider thinking about. It's really everything we always wanted to get, as far as, lots of people would love to be able to be on live TV, but they don't have the budget and everything to do that. This is our way of doing that. It's completely, totally free to you to use. And it's a great way to get people to see you, even people who've never seen you before, being able to broadcast to the public, and you'll have people who watch you from all over the place. So it's a great, great technology. And then, of course, being able to do workshops and classes and things like that, using tools like Zoom, being able to charge for classes and make a little money in your downtime is good too, and develop better relationships with your clients, which also can't hurt. So
Yeah,
that's a lot of the stuff that I see. So
yeah, I think it's deepening those relationships, and in that deepening, I mean, I look at things sometimes from a gamification perspective. It's almost like getting them hooked.
Mhm.
That you have this dopamine, and an oxytocin type of warm, fuzzy feeling that people start to get when they see your familiar face, they hear your voice,
they do.
and that provides a degree of comfort. So I think you never underestimate the fact that a lot of times in my case, patients or clients, they just want to hear your voice, see your face, and get that little reassurance that things are going to be okay. Not just that, but that things are still okay right now, but it's just unusual circumstances.
Yeah, most definitely. And, I do a thing. I haven't done this with you. I'm going to do it at some point. And maybe we'll do it someday while we're on air.
Is it dangerous?
It's not dangerous.
Oh,
no,
good.
It doesn't require a parachute or a plane or anything. Nothing funny like that. But I do this thing called the strategic attraction plan. It was taught to me by my friend Jan Stringer, who you met the other day in our class.
Yeah.
And I applied it to the work that I do with video. And it's fantastic because it really gets you thinking about your customer and what attracts them to you and all of that stuff, so that you can really develop video around it. Because with those two things together, just having that positive mindset of who I want to attract to my business, but also then it gets you thinking indirectly about, or even subliminally, about the videos that you want to produce for that. And I just found that to be an invaluable tool for me. And we should do that on here sometime.
It sounds good. No, I think people are looking for strategies. It's interesting because I always remember Rich Sheffrin talking about this from long, long ago. And he said there's a big difference in business between strategic thinkers and opportunity seekers. Absolutely. And those who are just jumping from one opportunity to the next don't have that strategic plan, and they don't necessarily build a blueprint that's actionable. Because people always talk in internet marketing, they talk tactics all the time. Can I do this? How about this email? And how about this and that? As opposed to looking at your overall strategic plan and then letting those tactics flow out from your vision of what you want your business to be overall, and what the long-term results will be to provide success according to your definition.
Right. Very true. And I think a lot of it's a mindset. Mindset is everything too. So you to do video, you really have to have a particular state of being as well. Because I was saying just before this, I had a meeting with a client, and we were talking about the 4 stages of getting started with video, or the 4 challenges with it. And the first one is getting your face on camera. So difficult for most people. You know, they're concerned about their appearance. They're concerned about how people are going to perceive them. And it's probably the hardest thing to get over in doing that. And I have a unique way around that. And then the second thing is that they have the fear of the technology. And the technology can be pretty daunting. I mean, we talked about 4 or 5 different technologies that we experimented with this week, and kind of some of our results and things that we like best about each of them. But can you imagine just coming into this cold, you're kind of a technologically inastute, and you're trying to figure all that stuff out by yourself. And I've helped you figure out a couple things this week too. So
oh yeah, we played through everything. You were like my unofficial help desk.
Yeah, and the technology is simple, but it's not easy. It's not super easy. You just have to methodically work your way through it.
And things can go wrong. And they will go wrong.
Things can go very wrong, absolutely. And you can't let that bother you or get to you, because this is a very forgiving medium. The idea is to show up authentically and genuinely to your audience. And, just really, people will forgive you for that. If something goes wrong, it's no problem. You just reschedule. You do another one the next day, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's no big deal. And then the third thing that slips people up is the equipment. And the equipment's pretty forgiving and easy too. Most of us we're on our PCs with a camera.
Yeah, I have the resident camera. I have this one around, but it's not working today. So.
Right. And then a lot of us, we just have our iPhone or Android phone. And the best thing to do is just get started with that. It's a great way to get started. Just start with one of those 2 things. Don't spend any extra money on equipment until you're ready to do it.
No, yeah. I have overspent in my life and regretted it immensely. So.
Absolutely. And then the last thing is, you don't want to be concerned about what you're going to say, because that's where most people are. They're like, wow, I know what I'm going to say for these couple episodes, but what am I going to say after that? If you go through what we teach you on what to say, you can't really go wrong with that. And, that's pretty straightforward and easy too. But for people who want to learn live streaming, we got a challenge going on April 1st. I know.
That's no joke.
It's coming up. And it's no joke. This is serious. No joke. It's really happening. But I put it in the comment stream. So if anybody wants to learn live streaming video, right there, you'll see it in the stream, and you can pick it up.
Yeah, don't try to type that whole thing in. Just click it.
Come visit. No, don't try to. No. Find it in the comments. It's there. I put it in.
honest to God.
So honest to goodness, it's there. At least I think it's there.
It appeared, so I'm pretty sure it's there.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the things, and you can always add it later. So one of the things that I was interested in when you were talking about people's face on, I've heard often that you can just do a screen share. Just do a screen share and just have your voice over when you have your PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever the heck you're using, but not to use a whole lot of slides, because death by PowerPoint is not only deadly in live meetings with your team and your business and your patients, but death by PowerPoint is even far deadlier in the online world, because you're just bore people, and you've got 3 seconds to capture their attention, and then they're off someplace else watching cat videos.
Right. So you don't want to just do those by themselves, because people are attracted to your face. They want to hear you. They want to see you. You can screen share here. Which
I like also the picture in picture when you were doing the tiny picture versus the other.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. We got a couple.
To show the capabilities.
Yeah, so we got.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. It's a little too wide angle. Ooh,
you get to see my background past my background. Sorry, it's a little bit over.
Yeah.
We got picture in picture.
Can you do the one where it goes into the lower right or lower left, or no? Not on this one.
No, we haven't really got one of those on this one.
Because Be Live had that one. That's what I liked about it. Because
I do like that.
Yeah, because it was like in the little corner, and you could switch them back and forth, and you could also put margins around.
This is almost the best on here.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking that it's not a bad idea to have more than one platform in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In fact, a backup.
That was exactly my thinking, is to have more than one platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, if you're in the audience and you want to stop and come talk to Dr. V and I, we don't mind. I'm gonna copy the link over to the problem that I had, Dr. V, that I realized is when I'm connecting to YouTube and Facebook,
Yeah.
it's not posting the link and stuff onto Facebook.
Was this the same thing that you had with the church group or with something?
No, this is the same thing I had yesterday, and I haven't figured out how to post to one or the other. So there's the link there if anybody wants to come join us again. So we've had some fun people come and join us. Last year or yesterday, we had one of my friends, Martin Wales, came and joined us for a little bit.
That was great, from Toronto, eh?
Yeah, so if anybody watching us wants to pop in, that's now in the chat link. I just popped over to Facebook and stuck it in. So the good news is you can always easily hop over Facebook and stick it in if it's not showing up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't figured out how to distinguish between posting to Facebook and posting to YouTube yet. Because it tells me to post to all. It's got like a little thing that says all, little circle. It says all in it. And then it shows me that I can post to one or the other.
If it was friendlier, it would have said y'all.
Y'all. Post to y'all.
Post y'all.
Yeah. But it's, for some reason, it just wants to post to YouTube. But anyways, if you see the link and it's over here in the stream, in the comments, and you want to hop in and say hi to Dr. V and I and chat about stuff, more than welcome to do so. We just figured this is our public service, come over here, broadcast.
It's your PSA.
Give you guys something to do when Netflix crashes, that kind of stuff. Makes sense, right?
It makes sense. And you have the potential to make dollars and cents. So
we got
three
people watching us. So who's watching us?
Somebody's watching. I think I'm watching. Am I one of the people who's on there?
I don't think so, because I'm open to the page too. I actually saw it go down to 0.
There's 1.
The page. So
we went from 3, 2, 1, up, 2, came back.
Yeah, so it goes up and down. So we've been up as high as like 7 or 8, and down to 1 or 2. So now we're down.
We had something like, was it 20 the other day?
We had 120 people.
120 people, yeah.
That on and off popped by and watched for a few minutes.
Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so a lot of times people just pop by, watch for a few minutes, say, oh, this is cool. Maybe I'll come back to this later, and it's okay. They get to see you for a bit, and then they hop off and head on their merry way.
Oh, speaking of hopping off and being on your merry way, one of the things I remember too was in marketing, we always talk about having top of the mind awareness. Yes. And I would say for my peeps, especially the doctors, it's always good to keep reminding your patients that you are around. Yeah, people actually forget you. And this is why I used to do direct mail back in the 90s when I had my big practice around DC, and sometimes I would send coupons and mailers and just letters, postcards. And because sometimes people just really forgot about you. They forget about their aches and pains, or they forget about the tooth problem that they had, the cavity, and they forget. And so they need to be reminded periodically. And one way that they'll be reminded is using video, particularly the live streaming.
Exactly true.
So
I know. Anything that gets you out in front of more people.
It's the top of the mind awareness, before they start thinking about somebody else in your profession. That's why it's just.
And plus, there's usually a lot of stuff that they can share. Like many times people would like to know, geez, I get these tension headaches. What could I do in between my visits? Mm-hmm. Being able to create a short video on that people can see,
or you get a short video within a checklist of 7 things or top 10 things or something.
Yeah, because my wife and I talk about that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you really should do a video on this or that or whatever. We had our local acupuncturist we do a lot of work with. He has a community acupuncture clinic, and 2 locations here, one in Nashville, one in Manchester, Manchester Acupuncture Studio. And, great guy, really close friend of ours. And my wife's always referring people over. So I had him on and interviewed him. And we talked about, he kept me alive for like 10 years. Mm. I mean, so we're tight, I mean, I got a big love relationship for my buddy, Andy. And, just people getting to see him, and many people commented on the video, I saw your husband did this video with Andy. And it was really the reason that I went. I trusted your instinct to go and see him. I liked his answers. I liked what he said about different conditions that he could treat and how he would do that and what it was like there. It's kind of a neat place. Have you ever seen a community acupuncture clinic? Do they have them out by you?
A community acupuncture clinic? I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I've been to a number of acupuncturists, including one of my favorites, who's out here in San Diego. But community, is it?
It's becoming more common now. So instead of going and you're seeing an individual acupuncturist, and you're in an individual room, you're treated like they treat you in the Orient, kind of in a community.
Oh, so you'd have like multiple.
You got like an easy
patients.
you're laying back in, and they come and pound needles in you, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, there are chiropractors who've done a lot of those things. I remember one friend of mine in Albuquerque, he was working with a large health delivery system there, and they had 10 tables in a row. And each doctor got 5 of these adjusting tables and went from one to the next. Yep. And it was an open area. But people, some people say, oh, no, I could never do that. And there was a separate room if somebody wanted that privacy. But for the most part, people were comfortable with the idea that they were there to get well. And if it made it easier for the doctor to help more people, they were cool with it.
Yeah. So doing interviews like that, though, is really neat, though. It gives people a chance to see what you're like, what the other person is like. And, that can really help with a lot of know, like, and trust issues.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. When I did a lot of videos from my practice back in DC, the videos were great. We didn't have live streaming, but the videos were great because patients, actually, a new patient felt they already knew you and had this sense of that they would be comfortable with you. And when they walked in the office, particularly if they'd seen a series of videos, they felt like they already knew you. And you're just like a long lost friend, or you're somebody who's incredibly familiar to them. It's almost like when you have a particular performer on TV or a talk show host or somebody else, over many years, you develop almost a relationship or a connection with them, such that when you do meet them for the first time, it's like, oh yeah, it's like old friends.
Yeah. So two things really sold me on this. I don't know if I've shared this with you before. Well, I know I'm having trouble talking now. Shared this with you before, but one, I met my wife through a video dating service.
You did mention this.
So going through all of that, and you go through, you're looking at a profile, and then the video was kind of the deal breaker. You go through and you look at the video and go, what could I possibly have been thinking? Or, wow, this is even better than I expected. And then the second thing is, you remember back in the days of Google Hangouts, when we were all getting involved with live video. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of students that were working with me very closely during that period of time, and we decided we're going to do a meetup. And one was my friend Ed, who I now have a group with, and I'm doing some product development stuff with, and he's down in Connecticut. And the other one is my friend Adam, who's down close to New York City in Westchester. And we'd never met in person before, but I had done so much stuff working with them in video. When we finally met, it was like we're old friends and, like separated at birth. Yeah, well, maybe not.
I can totally relate to that. We separated at birth. A brother from another mother. But I will say that, we had a very similar experience because my wife, Maggie, has done cooking shows for many years on Google Hangouts. That was one of the big things with our friend Chef Dennis and Larry Fournier and a few others. Yeah. And so... Yeah, and it was very interesting because Nazim, one of our friends, Nazim Beltran, we knew him through all the Google Hangouts and then migrating to Facebook and maybe a little bit of Twitter and stuff. And we met him for the very first time in Milan about a year ago on a trip that we made through Italy. And we'd never met in person before, but it was just phenomenal rapport. It's as if we knew each other forever, and it was so familiar. The only thing that we were missing was sort of the height, because you really can't tell on video how tall somebody is relative to you.
Oh, I know.
But the rapport was instantaneous, and I think because of the repetition, the constant, never-ending repetition of that video connection, we developed that type of rapport that really comes about with people whom you've known for many, many years, even though it may have been only maybe 1 or 2 years.
Right. And I've worked with people all over the world now just by this. Many of them, very few have I ever really met in person. Mm-hmm. You and I've we've never met in person.
Not that I
only
recall.
met virtually. So yeah, not that I know, unless I was in Buffalo once, somewhere along, and bumped into you and didn't know it. But yeah, we've never met in person personally. So, and that's kind of the way we work. We work a lot virtually.
Yeah.
This is if we've met in person. You'd never know.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of working virtually, I think I need to kind of wrap up my portion here, unless you want to continue going, because I have a broadcast in 24 minutes.
I will let you get to it. I ready to wrap up. It was nice seeing everybody today. We got 3 people still with us.
That's good. It was a great pleasure.
Though, if you 3 would like to say hi,
Say hi.
love to see who's on.
Say hola.
Listening to us. Yeah, say hola. Hola.
Bienvenue. Willkommen.
Yeah, we always like to know who's popping by to view and see what's going on. Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, I'm ready to break now. Been on here for 55 minutes. Break. Time out. Till next time.
Time out.
But yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Wow, it's amazing to catch up with old friends and see people I've done business with over years who've popped in. It's always fun. But we'll be on here. We'll be on here daily now. So
that's the challenge.
You will see us on. Oh, hey, look at that, Monica. Monica popped by. Hey, Monica.
Monica.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you on air.
She'll be on air. She'll be on air shortly. We worked on her lighting today.
Nice. That's where you're going next?
Right. Yeah, we're going next to Monica. So it was so funny because you've seen this a lot with people, and I've even had coaches who've done this where they have a window behind them, and all you see is the silhouette, where they look incredibly dark, like they have just they've changed completely. You can't see their eyes or their face very well, and it just doesn't come across that well. So sometimes you just need to turn the computer from one place to another.
She said she enjoyed listening to us. You're too kind.
She is too kind.
Really, you are.
She's so kind. Rewind.
Great. I hope a lot of people enjoy these. In fact, anybody who stops by, if you comment, if you like these, if you'd like to hear us keep going, if you have suggestions for topics you'd like us to talk about, we can talk about anything from marketing to little business tips to more about live streaming and case studies, all kinds of
advertising, using video and ads. We never touched that. We actually, it's a good one to touch on videos for ads. Yeah,
same here. So if you'd like to hear anything for future topics, please put them in the comments. And on that note, it's great seeing everybody. And we'll see you again tomorrow.
Arrivederci.
If all goes well.
It will go well.
It's our plan. We're planning every day.
Monday.
Yep. So see y'all soon. Take care. Bye for now.